we've got sound. Hello everyone. I'll flip on the video in a second. It's actually getting chilly out here, at least for me. I need gloves when it's under 15. All right, there we go. Oh, good, way less lag than last time too. Hello everybody. Welcome to Woustraat in De Pipe in Amsterdam. Sun is going down. We're going to see how well this camera does with low light stability. Oh, top chat. Yeah, you love doing that to me, don't you, YouTube? Paul C. Weg Gespant. Hazard Burger Palms. I like that. Aaron Fleming. Hey, Aaron. Kathy Toy. Caleb. Metal 123498. There goes a tram. That's a good start. Still pretty bright. Yeah, I guess so. I think the camera's making it look. It looks a little brighter on the screen than it looks in real life, but yeah, it is still pretty bright. Okay, I'm not going to dawdle too much. I don't want to spend too much time out here tonight. It does get a little dodgy when it with the video quality when it gets with the video stabilization when it gets dark. So we'll give it a try. So I'm going to ride south a bunch and then turn around. I'm going to take this as my opportunity. Oh, don't you love painted bicycle gutters? I love this. This is great. One car parked in it. Another car parked in it. Still haven't oiled my brakes. All right. This street was this street was featured in my worst places to cycle in Amsterdam, and I think you can tell why. It becomes a protected fietspad here, thankfully. This is much. Oh, it's still the old like tiles. Oh, that thing gonna go black on me every time I hit a bump? Good thing I'm not gonna be hitting too many bumps once I get off of this. But let's still see if I can push that in a little more securely. Protected, yes. Looks like a great street in Germany, yeah. I imagine, you know, it's funny, I've talked about this before, but when you do Google directions, it sends you down streets like it was designed for America. That street's great because it has a bike lane. Uh-oh. Lost a bit of the stream there for a sec. But we're back. I think that was just a dropout in 4G connectivity. So here's smooth red asphalt. This is an older path though, so it's a bit narrow and you see all the bikes on the side. It makes it a little claustrophobic. Say it again, please. Maybe we switch to 720p. Nah, it's just it was just that part back there. It's all right. The video encoder goes through my OBS server, and it can go way down in bitrate. But the connection from the OBS server is good, so the map and everything will stay clear no matter what happens. Yeah, you don't like these paths because you can't overtake people. I mean, you can, but there's just barely enough room. Like, they're really not big enough. Like, this is the kind of thing they were designing 25 years ago. What's your favorite pavement color? I'm kind of fond of the red, to be honest, but I don't know if I really care that much, as long as it's protected from cars. Just finished 20 kilometers. Nice. This is Revierenberg. I actually came through here on my stream yesterday, but the other direction. This time we're going south. Which I guess you can see because of the map, which is north up. Map is very cool. Yes, I agree. See, you definitely can pass people here when you're in a hurry to deliver New York pizza. Feels a little bit less claustrophobic here because the parked bikes aren't right on the left. They're over here on the right with more space. Oh, fire truck. I love how small the fire trucks are here. Oh, I think he's waiting for me to go. Oh, here I'm standing there at the fire truck. But soon we're going to get off of this major road. And, well, we're going to go by the highway first, and then under the highway. Good. I do like the smooth red asphalt. And I think the camera likes it more too. Doesn't need to do as much work. Not as smooth as yesterday. That could be because the field of view is a bit wider, so it gets a little bumpy on the edges. So I might not want to do such a wide field of view, but I want to see how it goes. But the other thing is, it's definitely not going to be as stable as yesterday because it's lower light, and so the software algorithms are pretty terrible with that. So it's just relying on the hardware stabilization in this camera. I'm not sure what the fire brigade is doing out here, except waiting for every cyclist to go by. He's obviously not in a hurry. Or he's just parked there. He's not waiting for anything. All right, this is the entrance to the highway that we're coming up to. All right, stabilization seems all right on those bumps. We'll see. I'm not going to ride too fast, not in a hurry like that guy. Going over the cable again, Wolfgang. Man, I had a lot of trouble with micro HDMI cables, but now I've got more expensive ones. So hopefully they'll hold out more than 7 minutes. Yeah, that white car shot past, eh? That was crazy. Is this the highway you showed on Twitter today? Ooh. Yes, actually, I think it was. We were down here today. Where are we riding today? I'm just going south into Zuideramstel. I'm not quite sure how far I'll go into Zuideramstel. I don't want to be out too late, but I'm going to start after this little bit here, I'm going to ride like away from the highway, and then I'm going to ride through the more busy parts of Zuidoost because there'll be better lighting. But I thought this would be kind of nice at sunset to see how it looks. So now we're going underneath that freeway that we were just at. These cycleways are both ways, yeah. That is two-way fietspad. And now we're to the older tiles. Haven't been down through here in a while, so I want to check it out. Lap around the arena, yeah, maybe. That could be good. And now I need to switch over to the other side of the road here. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm just going to go to the right here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to cross over to that side. I think it's more interesting if I stay on this side for a little bit longer, so let's try that. All right. These are some new, I guess the self-service isn't so good down here. Or hopefully that's not the HDMI cable given out. Oh no, it's all under construction down here. I might go back to my original plan after all. But let's see what the detour is like. Overstopping feetsers. That's me. Yeah, this is quite different than the last time I was down here. It's kind of interesting. So they're doing a lot of new construction, new house building down here, condominiums and such. You can see off to the left. I think it's the cable. Yeah, it could be. Except when it comes up with the technical difficulties, that's usually because of the bandwidth drops too low. Oh, the fun of those cables. They really don't like being bounced up and down on a bike. Yeah, cable plus tiled feetspad. Well, cable, I also don't like these tiled feetspads. I can't wait until they're all replaced. I'm a bit surprised that it's that sensitive, though. I might have to take a look at the cable and see what's going on before my next stream. It definitely does not like the abuse, though. This is more of a industrial office area down here that the city is redeveloping because they're desperate for houses. Put them anywhere they can. I do not know if Dutch parties differ a lot in their infrastructure views. You mean like Dutch political parties? They're more similar than you'd find in like the US. I think others could probably speak better to that. I have a understanding of Dutch politics. I can't vote. I don't spend an awful lot into what they are these days. Once I can vote, I will do that. Man, this thing dropping in and out is not cool. I might actually stop and just see if I can reseat all the connectors. Just stop up ahead here. We can watch some trains. I do have an extra micro HDMI cable. This one gives up the ghost. All right. Metro, not trains. You're right. This is the metro here. I haven't been on a train in so long. I miss them. Cannot wait for restrictions to ease up and be able to take trains again. And it's so funny because my channel, we're supposed to have all these videos about trains and public transit this year, but that was not happening. Trains Part 2. Yeah, Trains Part 2 was supposed to happen too, but I want to film that in Canada because I have very specific ideas of what I want out of that video. Okay, give me one more second here. Yeah, that's all right. Look at that. Okay. Hopefully that'll be better. If it's not, then I'm ready to swap to the next micro HDMI cable and admit that I am a destroyer of micro HDMI cables. Maybe I'll have to find a way to do this setup a bit differently so it's not quite as brutal on them. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with live streams, right? It needs to have good cell signal. I know that in the Netherlands, the LTE signal is pretty good in cities. Actually, it's pretty good just about everywhere in the country. But a lot of other streamers use like the LiveU Solo, which is a quite expensive streaming device that can stream to multiple networks at once, up to 4 networks. And people get 4 SIM cards, and it's pretty hardcore. All right, let's see if that was any better or not. Did that bump knock it out? No. All right, so it's a little bit better anyway. Oop, I'm supposed to cross over to the other side. That's annoying. Now it's a one-way feeds pad. Oh, man. If that bump didn't knock it out, then nothing will. Oh, that's good. Look at that. When I first moved to Amsterdam, I used to come out this way to get to like the hardware store and stuff, which are sort of over this way to the left. And at the time, I was still amazed that I could cycle to the hardware store in suburbia. But this is a rather like desolate place to come. It's very industrial. You know, you've got underpasses and stuff. Be interesting to see what the city does with this now that, you know, there's so much demand for housing. They'll put housing just about anywhere. So, do you think I'll do these streams in other countries? Yeah, I definitely will. The streaming setup is such that I can take it with me on like rental bikes and stuff. Hofe Pizza. Yeah. Yeah, the bumps are being handled well. I think it was just a loose, actually not even the micro HDMI side, it was a loose HDMI side. The setup does get a bit of abuse. I carry it around in a backpack and I throw it in the bike and bounces up and down. So you can tell now we're really getting into like suburbia. You got the Volkskrant building off to the left there where they presumably still print newspapers. And this is such a desolate place to come. But I wanted to come down through this way. Just to sort of see what it's like. How well lit it is and everything else. At least it's quiet. I mean, all these shops are closed. Self-storage too. Curious how expensive that is. Funny thing with self-storage in Hi. Funny thing with self-storage in the United States is that it used to be in the US that people would buy parking lots. Land speculators would buy parking lots and just run a parking lot because it was like super cheap property tax. And so they just sit on it until they could sell it for more money. And then cities started becoming wise to that. Yes, it's still life. Cities started becoming wise to that and started putting taxes on parking lots. And what the land speculators have switched to in the U.S. is self-storage places. So they run a self-storage place. It'll be like only a quarter full or something. They're losing money on it, but it doesn't matter because they're really just sitting on the land. There's self-storage places all over, yeah. So this land must have been very cheap at one point in time. But self-storage places are, yeah, I mean, they don't really employ anyone. They just kind of sit there. So they tend to be like the absolute least desirable other than maybe a parking lot. I would imagine that self-storage would be expensive here. And yes, a land value tax is exactly what's needed for something like that. It does amaze me. I know I got this, reading all the Strongtown stuff. It does amaze me that property tax, I mean, it almost always has a land component. But it amazes me that you get taxed on improving your building. Like, if you take your house and you make it better, your property values go up and you get charged more property tax. But that seems like a disincentive to improve your building. Like, you'd think you'd want to encourage people to make their buildings nicer and improve them. Thanks for all the videos. Yeah, you're welcome, Tom. I like making them. They've been a lot more popular than I thought they'd be. Concrete or asphalt on the left. The road is asphalt. The parking is bricks, and then this is bricks here. Or were you talking about the factory, that it's a concrete factory, which it very well could be. Yeah, all the motorcycles are out since the weather got nice. Damn. Yeah, this area will be a new neighborhood. That's exactly right. That's kind of why I want to come through here every once in a while and see how it's shaping up, because it's been so industrial in the past. It's kind of interesting to see. Here's another self-storage up here. All right. And I think think I'm going to keep going straight for a little while longer. But this is getting very, very suburban. Which I find interesting sometimes, just to see how different it is. You see that, like, as I've said a million times before, the bike infrastructure in the suburbs is so good compared to the city. What's the distinction for the motorcycles and the bike path? Well, it's quite complicated in Amsterdam now. It used to be much more simple. If you have the blue plate that's supposed to be limited to 25 kilometers an hour, then you can go on the bike path. But that was causing a lot of trouble, so they banned them from certain bike paths. Not these ones, though. Out here, they're allowed. Plus, as I was talking on the last stream, everybody removes the speed limiter from their 25 kilometer per hour moped. As an American, seeing the bike path is weird, right? Yeah, like, that's the way I felt about it when I got here, too. I'm like, what? All in the suburbs? But it makes sense. Look at how much space there is out here, right? In America, though, this would be like a 6 or 8 lane road coming through here, all for cars. And then they'd say there's no room for bike lanes. Yeah, residential area of Duivendrecht. 30s, 40s, and 70s, 80s. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, we're coming into Duivendrecht now. I haven't been down here in a while. So here we are in that residential neighborhood. This is a little bit bizarre. It does look pretty 1960s to me, if I had to guess. I live in it. Do you need coffee? That's all right, I got tea, but thanks for the offer. Painted bicycle gutter, yes. I think I invented that term because when I looked on Google a while ago, there was like my personal Reddit account was the only reference on the web. Anyway, I think it's a good one, whether I invented it or not. That's exactly what they are, painted bicycle gutters. How do you rate Amsterdam? Too small, too big? It's very medium-sized. If it were anywhere else, I would say it's too small. But I don't know. It's interesting enough with enough. I suppose it's also the fact that it gets so many tourists that it keeps things interesting. That there's enough interesting things open. That is, rather, restaurants and theaters and museums and such. Actually, I have no idea how to get out of here. I don't normally go this way, so this is interesting. I'm just going to get lost in this neighborhood, which is a complete maze. But I'll get out to the more major streets soon because now that it's getting dark, I want to be somewhere a little bit better lit. Have you been stream sniped? No, not yet, thankfully. I don't mind if people come by and just say hi, but I don't want them to stick around. So this is all 1970s, huh? Interesting. When did you last leave the Netherlands? That's a good question. I think it's been over a year. Yeah, it's probably like... Yeah, that's right. We were supposed to go skiing. We canceled that. So yeah, like, I think returning from Canada over a year ago. Wow. All right, Duivendrecht, get me out of here. Don't make me stop and look at a map. I have definitely never been down here before. It's so funny to see like these suburban areas because they're so different than suburbs from anywhere I've lived in the US or Canada. I mean, it's a lot higher density suburbs to begin with. Do you have your bike lights on? Yes, they're automatic. They're on a dynamo. That's all good. So quiet out here, apart from that siren. Oh, thanks. Thanks for shutting it off. We could direct you left. Yeah. Just give me a second. I saw that one black, and again, I just really need to... I wonder if there's a way to like stick these HDMI cables in a little more securely. Not with like glue, that would be disastrous, but something almost as sticky. Not just lost. Yeah, I should have stuck to the original plan and turned right back back before I got to Duivendrecht, but yeah, whatever. Now this is a stream in Duivendrecht instead of Zuideramstel, Oost, Amsterdam. Duivendrecht is a bit funny to me. It's like a little gap in Amsterdam, not part of Amsterdam, but it's like in between one part of Amsterdam and the rest. The old main road, yeah. And dude's just waiting under an overpass. That's fine. This is kind of nice. So, this is the old main road. It looks quite quaint, almost like village-like in parts. Can you turn your dynamo lights off? Yeah. No, I can't actually. And yes, I've had people say that, like, oh, you left your lights on. And I'm like, no, they just have like a little capacitor in them. They'll go off eventually. Oh, this is not where I planned to go, but this is kind of nice. It's funny, they've got like here off to the right, it's like fully detached, like village style homes. And then off to the left, there's what looks like around another one of those 1970s era apartment buildings. Duivendrecht gives me demon vibes, yeah, a little bit. I'm always amazed at the variety of housing that you see here, because now it's all like terraced homes on the right, apartments on the left, small apartments. It's just such a nice mix of different types of housing. But it is quite dark out here, and there's no lights on the Fietspad. So I'm surprised the camera's actually holding up fairly well. It's quite quiet out here. But I guess it is pretty suburban. So now we're getting like off to the right some more semi-detached homes, and this is feeling quite suburban now. But I should probably get out to a main road where it's a bit brighter so that you can see more, because I can see on the screen it's like totally dark. It's not quite that dark in real life, but it's close. More suburban terraced homes here, threeplexes, and off to the left, one-story duplexes. Very quiet, very suburban. But there's a nice cafe off to the left, right in the middle of all these houses, which still just yeah, that's the way things should be built. Nice. I think I'm actually going to go here and start heading back to civilization. Oh, overpasses. Aren't these aren't these beautiful? Videos from the 1950s and 1960s talking about our futuristic cities with all these overpasses for cars and how wonderful they're going to be. And I'm like, no. Turns out it's ugly as hell. Oh, so it's about as bright as Groningen. Oh, I see. But you're farther north than me, so maybe that makes the difference of a few minutes worth of brightness. Please make the map dark mode. It's way brighter than the rest. That'd be interesting. Should look into that, actually. The map can be skinned because I skinned it that way on purpose. But now we should be coming into brighter areas soon anyway. And this is close to where I wanted to end up in the first place, actually. So this is a two-way feed spot next to the highway that brings you right into Amsterdam. Can't wait for those things to go electric. I know they have electric ones already, but they're so expensive. Now this is nice and smooth riding. And right up here, I actually did one of my, I think my first live stream started here. Because I had just finished taking out the garbage to the recycling depot. Which is just off to the left here. And then I started up here, yeah. So this is following the highway that was built in the 1960s, following an old rail line, and it was supposed to go right up through the city center, but thankfully that was stopped. Should electric vehicles have a noise generator? Yeah, I mean, some of them do. And it's interesting because the manufacturers can choose what sound they use, and the Renault ones sound really weird, like spaceship landing or something. I hear those going by every once in a while. Are you on your Oma feets? Well, I'm on my electric Oma feets. This is pretty hardcore Oma feets. Kruizemunthof. Yes, I believe so. If I remember correctly. What is the, oh, that's interesting. I'm just looking at what the GPS street name says. I thought the EU made regulations on noisemakers and EVs as well. But I'm not 100% sure. Certainly it's not all electric vehicles, but you definitely hear some of them here. Yeah, with the amount of traffic on your streets, it's hard to imagine narrowing them. And that's the really sad part of it, because, you know, removing a lane and making it into a bus lane, and removing a lane and making it into a protected bicycle path is going to make congestion go down, but good luck convincing anybody of that in North America. hardcore Oma feeds. Hardcore Oma. Come on. Let's get going, Grandma. So a little bit brighter here. This is about to go up and join the highway. But maybe for a change of scenery. Well, it's pretty dark down there. I was going to say to go off to the left, but it's pretty dark. They do have lights on in the park, but I think it's better to get out to the more major roads so that you guys can see more. At least the stabilization seems to be holding up in the dark. GoPros would fall apart. Definitely. Even when I started, it would have been too dark for a GoPro. But that's why most live streamers use these Sony cameras with optical stabilization. So the highway's just here on the left. Hardly any traffic. But you can see up ahead, that was a dropout in the 4G. You can see up ahead there's a gas station. And that's where we're heading. We're going to pick up some gas and keep going from there. Can you maybe do a midnight stream again soon? Yeah, well, I was thinking about it, but the problem is there's a curfew from 9 p.m. until 4:30 a.m. So if I was going to do a night stream, it would have to be at 4:30 a.m., which I could do. And I might do. Sounds like a police. That was a weird siren. Okay, here we are out of the highway. Get to breathe in those nice fumes. And this is exactly where the first live stream on this channel started. Back when I was still using the GoPro that was terrible and kept cutting out all the time. And 4 a.m. clear, be there. All right. I may actually do a 4:30 a.m. stream. Because this curfew doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. They've been talking about extending it again. There goes the Shell station. Nice that we don't have to ride between it and the road. And yeah, this was the highway that was supposed to plow right through the center of Amsterdam. Right by Amsterdam Centraal. And out the west. What happened with all the court case drama on the curfew? Well, the government managed to get the curfew held in place until the appeals court could see it. And the issue isn't with the curfew, it's the way in which the curfew was decided. So the government just needs to decide on the curfew more democratically, and then they're good to go again. So that's what they're trying to do. Yeah, it is 6 p.m. in France. That is kind of crazy because, like, I know you hardly have time to, like, pick up any shopping or anything if you've been working all day. And now we're coming into civilization, or what they considered civilization in the 1960s. Giant car roads, bulldozed houses, modern looking glass buildings. Thank you, Mr. Green Light. I think you detected me. How fast are you riding right now? I was riding faster because I was in that desolate place, but now I'm only going 15 kilometers an hour. I like to go pretty slowly on the live stream. Amstelstation. So this is Amsterdam Amstel station. And this is a massive roundabout. Oh, I'm going to swing by the station though. Are you going out specifically to go streaming? It depends. Today I happen to be out in Duivendrecht, but I mean I brought my streaming gear with me on purpose. Usually I go out specifically to stream. We've been here before. Yes, we've been here a few times before. This is a pretty good train station that brings you to a lot of locations in the Netherlands. But Amsterdam Zuid is closer to our house, so we usually end up going through there. Crazy to me, this is the first stoplight you've had to wait at. That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. That one back there was the first. This is the second. I started a stream here, actually, now that I think about it. Down at Amsterdam Amstel. And here I was thinking I was going to do a stream that didn't repeat stuff, but it didn't end up down in Zuideramstel like I intended. A lot of this has been rebuilt recently. It looks quite different even than it was when we moved here. In the US, you'd probably be at stoplight every 5 minutes. That's exactly correct. What kind of motorcycles will add in the feeds pad? That gets asked so often that I think I should create like one of those exclamation point commands to explain it. Blue plate mopeds that are supposed to be speed limited to 25 kilometers per hour. A lot of this has been rebuilt lately. This fietspad is a couple years old now, I think. It was significantly narrower before. Now it's quite nice. Maybe this isn't a very good idea, actually. It's super dark down here. I usually come down here during the day. Well, I should say I only come down here during the day, because why would I come down here at night? Well, we'll come back to civilization shortly. It tickles your civil engineering brain. That's great. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? They do a lot of stuff right here. That's residential off to the left there. Quite close by to Amstelstation. But I'm going to go under the roundabout here. And then over to an area with a bunch of office buildings. It's really interesting to see how much development's being done around these parts of Amsterdam that were previously just left, you know, next to highways and industrial areas. Yeah, the camera holds up pretty well, I agree. Surprisingly well, better than I thought. But these Sony cameras are really good with optical stabilization. That's why every IRL live streamer uses them. And here we go. I always kind of like this area. It's very modern looking. I'm kind of partial to these areas. Maybe it's the North American in me. But it shows you how you can make like a modern area nice with a bicycle path. Catch up on some comments. Really? Now you lose signal? Anyway, sip of tea, catch up on comments. I'm not going to stream for too much longer. Kids will be going to bed soon. If it wasn't for the retroreflectors on the road, I don't know if I'd guess your bike light is on. It's bright enough, but it's one of these bike lights, like most of the bike lights here in the Netherlands, they aren't meant to light up the street in front of you. They're meant for other people to see you, so they don't need to be bright enough to be like headlights. That small two-story building looks out of place. It does, doesn't it? It's funny. So they've clearly kept that historic building, which is nice. Yeah, light is for being seen, not to see. Exactly right. Because as you've seen, everywhere we were here has street lights. The weather is so pleasant, man. So there's a bunch of companies down here. Banks. I think there's Philips here. I think Uber either is here or used to be here. It's a pub now. That's a good use for it. I'll give you a view of some of these buildings before we go. Yeah, but I'm quite partial to these more modern areas. I mean, I obviously like the older architecture too, but I think this really shows how you can do modern and still not have it crawling with cars everywhere. Are those scooters really allowed on this particular bike path? I don't think they are, but I didn't look carefully at the signs. It is super confusing which paths they can go in and which paths they can't in Amsterdam now, because they're starting to ban them, but haven't been able to ban them completely. The weird building on the right is the HVAC for the towers. That's interesting. At least they make it look interesting. All right. I'm not going to stream for too much longer. I think we're going to go into the pipe, and I'll probably end it where I've ended some of my other streams at Surfati Park, because I like ending there. Watch a tram go by. You could argue you're a self-employed online journalist. Get a yes, I could. And I know there's another streamer who does that. I don't know if I'm really that cool on that idea, though. I mean, ultimately, the curfew's there to try to stop these numbers from going up all the time, but I suppose I wouldn't be doing any damage being out on my own, but it's the optics of the whole thing. I wouldn't want to encourage others. Yeah, this is nice. And I like the way they've set up like a diagonal feet pad straight through this area. It's just like a desire path for cyclists. Assuming masks are still mandatory in Amsterdam. Only indoors, not outdoors. Oh. YouTube just crashed on me. That's good fun. Yeah, the stream is still up because it's not running off my phone. I'm enjoying the argument about European versus North American signs. I find signs in the Netherlands to be quite clear. I find the problem with driving in the US is that there's so many roads, especially when you get to some of those spaghetti junctions and that they've put through them over the decades, and it's so complicated as to which way to go. I was just here yesterday on my stream too. Getting some repeats. It's totally not the intention of this stream. Looks like the network's not that good today. Well, perhaps. Or maybe it is the cable giving out too. Well, that's interesting. There's a billboard ad, well, not an ad, I guess, public service announcement for the curfew off to my right. I haven't seen those before. I suppose I should have seen those. That's the point of them. But I do wonder how they decide on these measures, like what is considered a good enough notice to the general population. Now we're nice and bright. That was interesting. The whole camera gear fell off there. I'm having a lot of fun today. Gonna have to take a closer look at some of these things. I think I've been abusing them too much lately. There we go. That was fun. At least the cable stayed attached. That's so funny. That must have looked great. I can't wait to watch that back. That's fantastic. No, the camera came off its mount, but it was still stuck on by all the cables, of course. That's hilarious. All right, I'm going to head up here and go into the pipe. CGP Gray fell off his bike, yeah? So far, I have not fallen on a live stream. I just had lots of camera difficulty. Oh yeah, now...